After a year of lawmakers, ex-lawmakers, and staffers charged with or convicted of misusing taxpayer money for campaign work, how would you help restore public trust in state government?
Well, you know, the whole issue of bonus gate and investigation right now, frankly, at the end of the day, is not going to solve any problem in Harrisburg, because it doesn't get to the root of why there's an issue. You catch a few who have broken some laws. At the end of the day, it may not be totally clear exactly what it is that happened. But one thing that people do know, they can't really trust those who are in government. They can't trust them in Harrisburg, and they can't trust in Washington. What I believe has to happen is we have to, and the governor can take a strong lead in this, and I will, to create a climate of truth-telling. Tell the truth. You know, the reason that we have budgetary problems right now, and debt out through the roof, and all of these pension issues and property tax being talked about, people losing their homes talked about but not dealt with, is because we've not had an attitude of truth-telling. We've got to start telling the truth. Secondly, it's the introduction of an attitude which I have always held, but I would introduce as governor, and that is that the tax dollars, your tax dollars that come to us in Harrisburg, don't belong to us. They belong to you. It retains and remains your private property. If it's your private property, then our attitude should be how best to steward and use those dollars. And just because we may in government have the power to take your property from you, we don't have a moral obligation, we don't have a moral right to take from you any more than absolutely necessary than it is to fund the core functions of government. Therefore, if some money is left over, it does not entitle us to start a new program to spend it. My goal is we fix these issues of the economy, as I've talked about earlier, and we grow the economy, we spend people's money wisely, we give tax cuts back at the end of 4 years, and that would be the goal. But we establish an attitude toward the tax dollars. The third thing is this. I will change the mentality that exists there right now that says that it is okay to use the taxpayer dollars to buy and or influence the votes of the members of the legislature. And frankly, folks, this is probably the single greatest thing that could change the attitude and the whole concept in Harrisburg. Because right now, taxpayer dollars are used in the form of promising of earmarks, the promising of grants, the promising of any numbers of things to the tune of billions of dollars over these years. Billions of dollars. You know, right now, it's a felony for a lobbyist to bribe, entice, give some kind of remuneration to influence a vote of a House member or a Senate member all the way to the governor's office. It's a felony for that to occur because it's bribery. Yet there is no law in place right now that says that taxpayer dollars cannot be used by the governor to promise to buy votes for members, or legislative leaders cannot, or members cannot go to them and say, I will give you a vote on this controversial issue if you give me something in return. That's bribery. There is no different whatsoever. I have a bill that's in place right now that would make that also a felony. And if I were governor, and I stand there, I will say from this day forward, I will not partake in any such practice, and I will shine the light on any practice where that occurs in this legislature. Why? Because it's bribery, because it distorts every legislative vote and discussion on the floor of the House. It's time that we go to the floor of the House and the Senate and we debate issues on their merit. Let the merit of the issue determine whether or not something is worthy enough to be passed into law, uninfluenced of all by the taxpayer dollar who picks up the tab to make such an influence. These are just a few of the things that if I were there, I would impose and introduce to improve and to restore what is now, I believe, a tremendous lack of trust. It basically is a reinstatement of the telling of the truth.